Hi, hello, and welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous, also known as Ablosi Baba. I will be your oracle today. And I was sent by the temple to facilitate and officiate the 1111 Divine Lovers series. But this is actually Revolving Door 1111 Divine Lovers edition. Okay, so the Revolving Door is back. We have a different format, but today it will be in the 1111 Divine Lovers format, and it's the addition of the Revolving Door since we're back. Okay, so I may do 2 rounds. I may go through and do 2 rounds. We'll see what we have here. I will be deliberating my findings through the Antichi Tarocchi Italiani. I'll be imposing my guidance through the Thoth Tarot. And the sermon will be from the Nadi Anastasia's Cosmic Reading Guidebook. Okay, activation cards for the soul. So why don't we go ahead and begin? If anything that is said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and check the resources in the show notes. Now there's a special going on. Where there's a massive over 0.5% off of the 1111 Divine Lovers Assessment or the live council. So go ahead and check it out. The link is in the show notes. Let us begin. So time out, because emotions are at a peak. There's a message before we even begin. I have the sermon here will be time out. So stay tuned to the end. If you want to jump directly to, if you want to jump directly to the sermon, it'll be in the link below on the show notes. You know what? This month I'm feeling generous. Why don't we go ahead and just leave it all in one video? I'll keep it brief then. So we're awakening right now to the truth of our spirit, and we're on this journey that we've been on for some time, and it's been windy and up and down and everything, but we're actually having a moment of suspended animation, I feel. We're coming into awareness of how our emotions have been helping us awaken and preventing us from awakening. So now our true light is shining out, our free spirit is shining forward. And we're taking a week or two, a month or two to figure things out here. The guidance is to be still, because the choices that we're making right now are coming from our future self. Excuse me, I didn't seem to have put my phone on a vibrate. Normally it's on Do Not Disturb. My phone doesn't ring, so somebody must be calling for an emergency, and I'm not available, okay? I'm not available before 11. I can't do it. I can't. There's no way for me not to enter the phone in rage. There's just nothing. There's nothing inside of me. I don't like phones. I don't like phones at all. Okay, so we're actually emerging from some darkness. Now, it might not have been like a cloud of darkness over us, but we might have been in our own self. We might have been on a dark journey to the soul, dark journey of the soul. Whatever it is, we had some delusion that we're healing from, and it's our own soul's wisdom. We're emerging almost baptized in this new consciousness of our own union with the divine. Okay, we got it. We have the Two of Swords. Actually, I'll call those out in a minute. Okay, so we need to get some clarity here. I'll be honest. We really do, because things exist mostly in our mind. You know, we are coming into this cycle having, oh, excuse me. You know, there's a lot in the world trying to block the divine from emerging. And understand the divine lives in us, and it will be anchored into the physical through us. I'm doing this and I'm having distraction after distraction after distraction after distraction. We will push forward. It is not a question. We will be victorious and triumph over the dark. Let it be known. But start there, ground zero. The alternative is not good enough. Do not sacrifice the eternal part of your nature for something temporary that makes you feel good for a night. I'm being told to tell you discernment, 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 discernment. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't love a person, but you don't need to co-sign their BS. You don't need to co-sign their toxicity in order to love them. You can love someone from halfway across the world. You could meet your soulmate and still not to get to be with them. If for whatever reason love is being blocked, that means it's karmic. You may be perfectly ready for union, and this other person is not in alignment with your values. You don't lower your values. You don't lower your standards. You don't lower your boundaries so you can have love right now. You tell them, hey, go away, work on yourself. And if somebody that's not you manifests bigger, brighter, and better than you, then okay, I'm sorry. And if the universe brings us back together when you've done your healing, great, wonderful. Understand something before we even begin today. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. You really can't. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. That's all ever needs to be said. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. Now, in addition, your boundaries are for you. They're not for another person. A person is blessed if you share your boundaries with them. You're under no obligation to make any sense to another person. And again, you're also under no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago, let alone 5 weeks ago, 5 months ago, 5 years ago. We begin this cycle. Okay, and then I also want to say, okay, so the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the divine masculine is more of the spiritual aspect of the relationship. The feminine embodies the spiritual in the physical. So the feminine is the one who's receiving energy. The masculine is the one who's giving energy. Usually, now you don't need to be male or female assigned at birth to be either respectively male or female or masculine, feminine. So you'll hear me use a lot of they, but I do want to say the feminine is going to be on this side that's closer to the camera, and the masculine is going to be on this side that's closer to the altar piece over here. Okay, now it seems like the masculine is coming in, and listen, it's the full moon's in Cancer, so we'll talk more about the karmic aspect of the feminine guidance. Okay, next month the full moon's going to be in Leo, so we'll talk about the karmic aspect of the masculine guidance. I'll talk about both, all right, but this month is for the divine feminine, since the full moon is in Cancer. Full moon karmic, Cancer feminine sign, divine feminine. Okay, next month full moon in Leo. Okay, Leo masculine. Okay, so if that phone rings one more time, I'm gonna have to pause and handle it. I'm actually gonna pause right now. Okay, folks, sorry about that. My phone usually goes right to voicemail because a ringing phone will drive me crazy. You can call me all you want because I enter the phone on my own terms. I don't answer the phone. Arrange a time to talk or go away. Okay, So this, like I said, divine masculine, divine feminine, understand that the masculine really embodies the spiritual aspect of the relationship. It typically is energy being pushed out. That's the definition of masculine. Energy being pushed outward, that's masculine, period. Energy being received, that's feminine, period. So you may be male and embodying the feminine role, you may be female and embodying the masculine role. Now, typically, if it's a true union, if it's a true twin union, it alternates every 18 months approximately, depending on the nodal axis, okay? So, you know, we're entering in this cycle last month, having completed some type of confusion. There might have been a blocked gate that needed to be closed, or just, it doesn't really feel like a communication breakdown, but there might have been no communication. The masculine is coming in with an offer, a message of love, okay? And we're gonna be leaving this cycle with a decision. The masculine is gonna be sending a lot of energy and the feminine is gonna be undecided. Now, it can also mean practicing discernment. It can also mean using time, the moon, to make a decision. Something might be getting manifested in here, because 8s are a magic number too. So there's 2 8s here. That means messages received. And it does have a lot of moon energy for me. So it can mean waiting for something to manifest or waiting for something to get seeded to manifest later on. And we do have time out here. So if you are in communication, I want to say, there's some slow discernment here. So we enter in the month with a message from the masculine to the feminine. Now, feminine, this is the wisdom applied to the situation, either too much or too little. So you may have an idea in your mind, madam, mistress, about how things should be, when things should be, why things should be, whatever. I'm just going to say, excuse me, the mic is getting bumped, the camera's getting bumped. I don't care. We got to do this. The devil's working on me, and I will not heal. I will not. Okay, so let me just tell you something, madam. I'm finding a nice way to tell you. Your logic is your logic. It gives you information about the world. You are showing up and perceiving your environment, okay, and having the experience impressed upon you, okay? Okay? So your logic, your thoughts, your feelings, that informs you. You cannot expect another person to use your logic. You need to go off agreements and behavior. And if behavior doesn't work for you, either leave or communicate your needs and ask them to change their behavior, because in a union, the person should want to contribute to what's alive in you, okay? They really don't have to care about your feelings. They really don't have to care about your thoughts. They have to honor agreements that are made. You can't hold somebody accountable for anything other than their behavior. They're not responsible for how you choose to feel. They're not responsible for how you choose to think, no matter what you want to argue. If you think some kind of way, if you feel some kind of way, honey, homegirl, that's you and your problem. Be careful about that. Now, doesn't mean that your feelings and your thoughts are invalid. They're valid to you. And your feelings and thoughts inform your experience. So if you're having an experience where your needs are not getting met, you're in a union, madam. You're in a union, mistress. So go ahead and communicate what your needs are. Your thoughts, your feelings inform your experience. If your experience is leaving you left out of something, it tells you you have what's called an open loop, madam. An open loop, mistress, is this: an unmitigated resentment, an unexpressed expectation, okay, or an unknown objection, okay? So communicate your needs. How do you know what your needs are? Your thoughts, what you're wanting, hoping, wishing, feeling. Those form your needs. And if you show up in a relationship, in a union, in a partnership and say, okay, I need this, I need honesty, I need integrity, I need to be able to see those in your behavior. That's different than saying, well, you should know what you did wrong. That's your logic, not theirs. Or I'm pissed. Okay, great. Enjoy being pissed. I'll leave you in the corner to be pissed while I go over here and live my life. If you have an expectation that when you say you're pissed, a person comes and gets on one knee and begs and pleads you to feel better or to ask why you're pissed, unless it's an agreement, you shouldn't expect that from a person. You should expect agreements to be honored. That is valid. Because whatever it is, 8 of Swords, it means ascension is blocked. You're blocked out of heaven or the divine realm. And it means that the logic that is being applied to the situation is too much or too little. So that thing that you always do that works on other people might not work here. It can also mean that there's been a reversal. That what worked last year or before in general is not going to work now. Whatever it is, the mind is blocking an offer here. This is the person who's on a journey of love. Because the obstacle, the challenge, the conflict is that this person's coming in. They're coming in to transform the situation, transmute the situation, feminine. And it's to break out, break free. They might have a strategy. They might have, okay. But what it is, it's to transmute the power in the situation. There's been some type of conflict. There's been some type of, something happened in broad daylight. It could have been a little bit of deceit. It could have been an untruth. It could have been something unknown, something that was hidden, whether malicious or not malicious. I don't feel it's malicious, to be honest. I really don't. I really, really don't. I really, really, truly, genuinely don't feel that it's malicious. Somebody's coming in to break out, break free of the situation. That there's something that you know that you've been doing that needs to be shared. It can be what your expectation is not being shared. So they're coming in kind of fast or harshly or with strong wording to negotiate, navigate the situation, to break out, break free of whatever the current situation is. Well, what is the current situation? Well, the current energy, the focus right now is discernment. On the masculine side, they're coming over because the feminine wants some practical progress. Well, the masculine wants to progress and they're going to use their words to do so. You want to see action, feminine, which is fine. But they may use their words, feminine, to figure out what practical action they need to take. And if they come in saying things, speaking things, and you're not having it because you want to see action, okay, well, tell them what actions you expect, communicate what your needs are, and don't be afraid and don't bash them with the billy club when they start asking about things, poking around, figuring things out. You can say, hey, help me understand your process here. Help me feel better about the questions you're asking. I'm a little agitated right now. I'm not feeling very forthcoming. I'm not feeling very open. I'm not feeling very receptive to this dialogue, to this communication. What is your, me, I'm a little harsh. Declare your intention, state your objective, define your mission, or fuck off. Excuse my language. Don't be like me. I chase people away. I like to be alone anyway, so it's fine. But if you're wanting a union, you gotta be a little bit receptive. Okay, it doesn't mean you can't have your boundaries. It doesn't mean you can't be somewhat closed. But there's 4 types of receptivity: action, drive, desires, passions, motivations, right? Practical work, reasoning, logic, okay? Intellect, communication, logic, talking, that's a receptivity, truth, clarity, okay? And then the other receptivity is love, nurturance, union, feeling intimacy, into me you see. Think about it, receptivity, the queen. You have the Queen of Swords, you have the Queen of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Those are the 4 types of receptivity. Okay, here we have receptivity of words, and it's on the masculine side. The feminine is expecting work, practical movement. The masculine is going to come through with communication, and the feminine might try to block it out or might try to impose her power in the situation because she has an 8 of Swords, a 7 of Swords. Well, that's 15. Minus 12, so there's a break here. There's some type of hidden mental break. I feel like the feminine was giving openly from the heart, and the masculine wasn't saying, wasn't moving, whatever. The feminine had some type of expectation to be received, have the masculine rush in with more love, and the masculine is very intellectual. It wouldn't be surprising if the masculine has an air moon, a Libra moon, Aquarius moon, Gemini moon. The feminine might have a rising sign in Earth, like Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, might also have either the top of their chart being Earth, so that besides an Earth rising sign, you could also have a water rising sign and be like a Virgo midheaven, Capricorn midheaven, Taurus midheaven. Masculine, you might have an air rising sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Also, the bottom of your chart, you could also be a water rising sign. Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces rising sign, because that would make the bottom of your chart your IC, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Now, somebody could also be a fire rising sign, mostly the masculine, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. So feminine, you're closed and you're blocking. The wisdom applied to the situation, listen to me. And that's for the last cycle too. So it's been this way already. The wisdom applied to the situation is either too much or too little. It's not appropriate. It's not accurate. The challenge is to find the power in the situation, and the masculine wants to drive that forward. It's the feminine who's blocking that. Because the focus on the feminine is like, okay, well, you've been taking a long time. This is taking a long time. The masculine is like, okay, well, my heart is hurting here, and I'm trying to discern something. And if you could just provide realistic information, I might, in fact, be able to rush in and give you what it is that you want. Okay, because the sacrifice to be made is the feminine is going to need to see, or it needs to put energy out. Realistic, practical energy. Something that can be built upon. And the masculine is going to need to make movement. Boy, I'm wanting to share my story a lot right now. This is reminding me of a couple of my situations. I'm non-monogamous and I'm asexual. I can't be bothered. And it seems like people want passion and libido and touching and emotions, and boring. So boring. Leave me alone with that. So I'm seeing like that the situation evolves next month with a lot of energy coming from the masculine and the feminine still being kind of stuffy and cold. The masculine might have either been too harsh, too prickly with their words, because they need clarity. And the masculine, I'll be honest, I'm going to say something that's going to, because mostly women watch. 84% of my audience is women. Listen, of the audience, listen. It may not seem like it. What is seen, what you perceive with your eyes, feminine, might be some immature, weepy little boy. That might be what you perceive. And really what it is this is a very shrewd, discerning, sharp-minded individual. And the typical, and this is not antithesis of a love relationship. We have one cup here. They're shrewd, sharp-minded. And it takes a lot for them to get invested in moving because things need to be clear for them in their mind intellectually. Their love language may be words of affirmation. That's very true for me. And your love language will be physical touch. Okay? So you're starving them of their what they need to feel love. And see, the masculine, they need to know what is needed. When they see that you have needs and they love you, they're going to want to help you meet your needs. That's how the masculine gives love. Typically, the typical masculine, they're going to want to reach out towards you and give you what your needs are. See, the feminine wants to provide nurturing and care. The masculine wants to provide clarity, drives, desires, passions, motivations. The masculine has a lot to give here. And it might have seemed before like they were really immature, but they actually are quite adept and they've already been initiated. So whatever this connection is, it's already initiated the masculine into a bigger, brighter, and better. They've gone from immature, they've gone into adept, highly adept. You're still a master, feminine. But see, if you're a master, you need to give them practical guidance on what it is you expect from them. You could be telling them in your mind, but it might be very vague to them. You can say, well, this is what I expect. Okay, well, unless it's very clear, I have expectations is not the same as I expect this, I expect that, I expect this, I expect that. You know, I want you to make a bigger effort. Actually, what does that mean? What behavior are you looking for? You have to change. Okay, madam, what does that mean? What behavior are you looking for? Okay, again, discernment. You know, to me, I'll be honest, I'm just going to say the masculine is looking at the feminine saying, what do you want from me? You seem very wishy-washy, or whatever you're saying, because this could be lies coming from the feminine. The masculine does not buy it. You might have said something, made some type of gesture, and the masculine is looking at you like you're stupid. Like, okay, something here doesn't compute. I always, in my mind, when something's off, I say syntax error. The math's not right. And it's not always money we're dealing with. But if you're doing this, and this is what I would be sensing. And, you know, I'm an oracle. When people are talking, I hear what they're saying in my left ear, and then my right ear will communicate to me the truth. Okay, so it might not seem like the masculine is very spiritual, but whenever there's a queen in a reading, it means where the spirituality is at. All the cups and wands are spirituality too, but the masculine goes where they're called. And it's the feminine here who's lacking spirituality. Now, that by definition, a woman, the moon, it has divinity, usually more than the masculine. By definition, there's one moon card here, and it's coming around lies, cheating, deceit. Now, in its most benign, it would be breaking out, breaking free strategy, your power in the situation, your power in this world. But then the feminine is feeling disrespected, like they have no power in the situation, and they need to say certain things to bash back at the masculine. And honey, syntax error. Syntax error. So let me impose my guidance here. Those were my findings. Okay, so we have the moon clarified by the Two of Swords. We have the Death card clarified by the Page of Cups. We have the Justice card clarified by the Eight of Swords. We have the Fool clarified by the Eight of Wands. We have the Hermit clarified by the King of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant clarified by the Knight of Swords, Caballero di Spade. We have Il Carro, the Chariot, clarified by the Seven of Spades. Excuse me, Sette di Spade. What is that? Seven of Swords. We have L'Imperatore, the Emperor, clarified by, I'm sorry, code switching. English is hard for me. Knight of Wands. We have the Magician clarified by Cavalli di Denari. That's the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Lovers clarified by the Queen of Spades. That's, yeah. Oh. Wow. All right. Grant me just a moment, everyone. So the shared energy is not a major arcana. Since it's the wild card there, we're going to take it from the bottom of the deck of the clarifying cards, which is the Three of Swords. And I was telling you, there's an invisible Three of Swords here. How do I know? So we have 7 plus 8 swords, that's 15, minus the Queen, that's 12. We're left with 3 swords. And now we have the 3 swords here on the table. So as I said, we're entering the month in with, it might be finally the masculine makes a love offer, and the feminine is like, okay, well, this, I'm gonna deliberate. I need to balance my side of the road. And the masculine has now this conflict, challenge of saying, okay, well, I have a certain belief. I'm wanting to drive forward on inspiration. and I feel like I'm in conflict with you. So I have inspiration, but I also have duties and obligations that are worldwide, or I'm a player on a world stage and I have to be accountable for my duties and obligations. So if I'm going to put energy into something, it needs to be very clear to me. It needs to be very, very, very clear to me. And the feminine is like, they're at war. The feminine is at war. I don't know how to say it. We have the chariot, the board general with the 7 of swords. All 7s are war. It's power. It's a power play. And the masculine is looking at the feminine a little sideways right now. Maybe not a liar, maybe whatever, but something's not being said. You know, I'm very much that way. I am unbothered until the truth comes out. And if I am bothered and weepy in my feelings about it, it's because suddenly I figure out that I've had a long time, a long opportunity to change my behavior or to do something or to say something, and it was withheld from me. See, I can see very clearly here that the masculine would drive towards the feminine if it was made clear what the feminine expected. And I'm honestly feeling the masculine being hurt because the feminine is trying to manifest things not in a way that the masculine needs to feel a spiritual calling towards whatever they're being asked to put out. And if the feminine either doesn't seem clear or isn't clarifying what their needs are or isn't communicating words, intellect, reasoning, communication, what mechanisms, methodologies, behaviors is going to drive the situation forward, the masculine is going to withdraw their energy and go back to their duties and obligations. Because they're a player in a world stage with their duties and obligations. They're held accountable for things other than this relationship, other than this connection. So we enter in the month with an offer already having been made. And the feminine is deliberating. Well, their mind ain't right. And if their mind is right, they're going to want the masculine to pay for things that have happened already at a different time in a different place. Like I said in the beginning, you're under no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago, let alone 5 weeks ago, 5 months ago, 5 years ago. The feminine is looking at the masculine saying, pay for what you did last year, pay for who you used to be. Okay, honey, let me be very clear. If the person's showing up for right now, deal with right now. You can say, I have some doubts, I have some fears about what happened in the past. Can we communicate that really quickly? Basically, you need to say, hey, can we turn around for a moment together and look into the past so that we can learn from it and move on from it? Because if you ain't doing that, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up and don't sit there putting that on the masculine. The masculine is usually going to be stupider than the feminine. Yes, boys are stupid. That's what I'm saying. They take longer to mature and they move slower. So don't make it harder on them when they're ready, because they're going to take all that they learned with you and give it to somebody who's willing to receive them. I hate to say it. I do. Now, in this situation, I'll be honest, the masculine is willing to wait, but who knows how long? Because the masculine has all this energy coming, ready to give. And that's going to drive them crazy. So they will give it to somebody else eventually. I say you have 4 weeks from the time you watch this video. 4 weeks, 2 full moons. So next full moon and then the moon after that, and don't expect them to be around by that following new moon. So 6 weeks from now, don't expect them to be around. Whatever they have to give you, a crown, a throne, a ring, apartment, a commitment, a proposal, whatever it is, they have to give you. Do not expect it to be there in 6 weeks. You have 4 to 6 weeks to get it together. Because in 6 weeks, time out. Time's run out, literally. The 2, the 3, the 7, the 9, those are all timing indicators. Okay, so we're coming in with this offer. The female is deliberating, and then the masculine has duties and obligations. So they're running in saying, okay, can we make an agreement? Can we clarify things? Can we put things into the physical here? And the feminine is like, I'm at war. I'm trying to move on. I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't want to give a fuck about you. Excuse my language. And the conflict, that's the conflict. So the focus here on the masculine is discerning this connection. They do feel a bond and they're trying to make a choice right now. And the feminine is saying, or, well, I'm going to say saying because the magician card, the feminine is trying to figure out what they can manifest, and they're taking their time with it. So that tells me something happened. The masculine doesn't know what it is, and the feminine thinks that they should know what it is, and they don't. It's not clear even if they have an idea. And they're not going to make assumptions. These cards here, they don't make assumptions. Whatever it is, the feminine was giving the masculine something. It doesn't seem like love. Now, it could have been love, but that love would have been long, deep, and committed. And the masculine seemed very flighty. And now the sacrifice to make for the masculine is to have to keep coming back, trying to make a foundation. And the feminine has withdrawn their energy. Their back is faced. The feminine also, when they're out there talking, they're trying to manifest other things. No, it can be that they're being practical, they're getting advice, they're getting guidance from other people. But see, if you're talking about the masculine, they have a connection to you, so they're going to be coming into your energy all the time. Because we leave into next month of the cycle with the feminine going to have to confront. So the feminine has some fears that the masculine might have contributed to at a previous time. Because darkness, darkness. So we enter in the month with darkness on the masculine side. This is how it was wrapping up last month. They finally made an offer. And now the feminine is like, okay, well, I don't trust it. I'm undecided. The masculine has everything. They're willing to give this completely. To them, they're fresh, they're new, they're renewed, they're open. They're not focusing on the past at all. The Fool is not unbothered. Brahma, wanting to create only. Feminine has the Moon, confrontations with the depths of the soul, needing to go into the depths of your nature to see if you can find any light. Okay, girl, two fortnights, that's 4 weeks. Because the masculine is collecting energy. Also, to me, the empty cup is the Fool. The Fool cup is the World card. So this is a person ready to receive fully from the universe, co-create with the universe. They have the Eight of Swords, Eight of Wands. It's a lot of energy. The masculine, the sacrifice to be made is to go on the journey, Knight of Wands, and look, the next step, Eight of Wands. So they have everything. You have the Emperor and the Fool. This is a person who's ready to be a new provider, a new masculine, who's finally ready to stick it in you if they need to. They're ready, and they have all the energy. They have the stamina. Before, they had a lack of clarity, and you were giving a lot. I can tell in the past you were giving a lot. So you want to give, but you're trying to give somewhere else. Because in your mind, there's still that immature little whatever that you were looking at. Okay, honey. Well, the situation here combined is timeout. So yeah, for the next 2 fortnights, it's okay to take some space from each other, but I do feel in 3 weeks, they're gonna move forward somewhere else. With 2 nights here, it's a call to arms. So they feel attacked, number one. Because the person executing the attack was usually where the chariot or the tower is. The person receiving the attack is the tower, the person making the attack is the chariot. So the chariot is on the feminine side. They feel attacked. Their response is saying, okay, well, duties and obligations. Please be clear and help me discern. They're not getting that. So I can see that in the beginning, they're looking directly at you. And now, towards the end, they're looking away. And at the very end, I can see the energy begin to dissipate. So be careful, madam, because what you want might have finally shown up. And if you're not willing to communicate what it is that you want, it's going to slip right through your fingers, or you're going to throw it away by accident. Now, normally, I would not like this. But here's what I see. We do have the Lovers card out. The Devil card is not here. The reading is not overrun by black cards. We have the Masculine. The Feminine has not shown up, or if the Feminine has shown up, should either evolve beyond the Masculine. I don't agree with that, though, because we have the Magician on their side, and it's not at the end. On the end, it would mean leaving to manifest other options. That's what they're focusing on. So they could be focusing on the past of a more immature masculine, or they're looking away to see if they have options outside of, and to be honest, they're going to be walking through darkness. And I got to be honest, if they don't take this on, it's a darker future for them. New darkness is what this means together, this combination. Strictness. So the feminine, we enter in with the feminine might have having needing to be very firm with the masculine. Well, if you were firm with the masculine, they woke up, they're doing whatever they need. But I don't feel like that. I feel like there was firmness and strictness, but it was already there on the feminine side, and the masculine finally came through maybe 2 days too late, 5 minutes late. So the feminine tried to move on. She might have communicated, told that. It's a lie. It's a lie. We have the Magician with the Seven of Swords. It's a lie. I don't know how else to say that. It might not be a lie, because a lie is a statement with the intent to deceive. It might be an untruth. The feminine may even believe that they're moving forward, breaking up or whatever, taking space or whatever. They may believe that, so I don't want to say lie. Because they withdraw their energy all the same, so they're not sitting there waiting. Because the High Priestess, that would be a lie, because they'd be sitting there waiting on the masculine to do whatever it is. It doesn't feel like games. It feels like, okay, okay, all right, okay. It feels like stupidity. It does. I don't truly, genuinely feel like the feminine has ever opened up about their feelings, especially their feelings right now. Now, they may have some unmet need, some unmet expectation. It's an open loop. All of the masculine's energy is facing the feminine, except for when they enter this cycle, and that is telling me that it's really that something happened. If this death card is facing the future, it means that whatever is behind the death card has already happened. It's what they brought in. So they finally made this offer. And it confuses the feminine. And it's clear to me that the feminine has been expecting this for a long time. And what I'm discerning very deeply is that everything you want has already shown up, and you're now undecided about it. Were you waiting so long that you lost hope, and now that what you want is here, you don't know if you have anything left to give to it? That's fine. I've been in those situations before. Think about it this way. If you let this go, now that it's here, are you going to be looking back over your shoulder for the rest of your life regretting this? Because you do have a dark future, and that's on the feminine side. The masculine has a beautiful future. They're going to be elevated. They're going to be ascended. They're deep. They have more growing to do. So this is only going to get better for them. They're finally in the heavenly energy. They're not in the dark like you are, feminine. They're leaving darkness, going to the light. You're leaving light, going into the dark. Why is that? What do you need to confront? What are you undecided about? They're already stepping up. They're already ascending. They've already been given a crown, a throne, and they're going to get deeper, deeper, deeper. It's going to get bigger, brighter, and better for them. Or bigger. Now, they will have more responsibility too, so you need to keep on with that clarity, because they're not going to have time for games. They barely have time for fun. I hate to do this, but I'm going to clarify one thing just because I feel kind of mean, feminine. Okay, so you might have withdrawn your energy, feminine, to do your own work. And it's clarified by, okay, well, see, okay, if you're not stripping your reality of falsehoods, I do want to be honest. You might be out there trying to manifest your own work venture. You're competing with the masculine. You're competing. So don't expect them to acknowledge your victory when you do come back through. Make sure that's a personal victory for you and yourself, because they're only here to get clarity about this relationship because they want to give to it. So you're withdrawing your energy to work on your own thing. It's yours. So whatever you accomplish, whatever you achieve, that's for you and yours. And there's one more thing I need to clarify, because what it is stripping the reality. So somebody's going to be, if you're not leaving something behind, somebody's going to be okay. All right, so this is the reversal card. So evil becomes good, good becomes evil. And the masculine has everything. They're willing to give, they're willing to work, they're willing to choose this path. You guys have switched places too. So if the feminine was the one giving, 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 the masculine's going to be the one giving, giving, giving. Or vice versa. Okay, I'm going to clarify one more thing. Okay, so the masculine's rushing through for clarity because they feel like there's been some type of reality being stripped here. They have a lot to commit emotionally, but they don't seem emotional. They don't seem lovey-dovey because they don't have the clarity that they need. But they're looking at a crossroads and they're willing to walk down the path with you. So they're saying, okay, this is an option for me. I need some clarity before I choose this option. And the feminine needs to be receptive and giving. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a reversal. I'm not seeing them come together. I'm seeing that the masculine was in darkness and now they're in the light, and the feminine was in the light and now they're in the darkness. So let's continue the story really quickly because this is too good to not know. So he was disappointed and now he's making all right. So this offer is here, a practical, realistic one to build on. The masculine has much to share. It could be wealth, it could be whatever. They also have much to build. And the feminine is looking at what they have. So I'm really feeling like the feminine left the masculine and has always planned to come back, or has never really left. Never really left. So you've been waiting, you're going on a journey to get a practical offer, feminine. There is a reunion coming, but right now the environment is repelling a lot of challenges. There's agendas, and they're mutual on both sides. And I'll be honest, feminine, you need to quit. 10 of Swords. Whatever you do what you do, but make sure when you're done that it's fully over. It's ended. And it's going to be a difficult ending all the same. 10 of Swords. You have the 2 of Swords on your end. So make your decision, make a final decision. It's expansion here, but right now we have agendas. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so this grows together. But again, there needs to be a truth, clarity. Feminine, okay, so you're secure in yourself. You are a goddess with this 9 of Pentacles, but that's in a higher realm. Down here, you still need to barter, negotiate. So you may know how you should be treated. And yes, you show people how you should be treated, but you also need to kind of communicate your needs. Not your boundaries and expectations, and if your boundaries get violated, leave. You don't need to explain your boundaries. But if you're gonna stay, don't let your boundaries keep getting walked all over. Don't say that they're your boundaries. Just say, communicate, hey, I need this, I need that. I need you to lower your voice. I need you to call me if you're not gonna make it home on time. I need you to honor your commitments and agreements. Okay, I need to feel like this is a mutually beneficial, nourishing relationship. I feel like I'm giving too much and I'm not receiving enough. It's going to be a burden. But see, what I see here, the masculine has enough to give. This can be a burden, but this could also mean an institution that's built that keeps giving, and it has to be strong and stable. So I see this a lot, this 10 in twin flame relationships. Twin flame doesn't always mean that you're in a love relationship. It could mean that one person is the crown, the other person is the throne. It could mean that the one person is the nurturing, the other person is the protector. It could mean like whatever twin flame, it fits perfectly. Okay, so the masculine is rushing back in, has been rushing back in, has always been coming back, whether or not it was in the physical or not. They have enough to commit. The feminine is the one who's on a journey of practicality. And the masculine might be giving love, but they need more clarity in order to give practical love. So they can talk about their feelings, they can share their feelings. But until there's some type of practical, realistic clarity, they're not gonna give practical feelings, give an emotional commitment, give the work that the feminine is receiving. The feminine wants what they want without telling what they want. You got 6 weeks to get out of that energy, honey. I don't know a nicer way to tell you. So again, the sermon here is time out. And clarifying this timeout is the Three of Swords. So why don't we read, see at the bottom of the deck is healing. That can mean cleansing the soul, cooling the soul down, reunions, all types of things. More than a reconciliation, Three of Cups, it's a reunion. Timeout. And this is from the Cosmic Activation Cards for the Soul by Nadi Anastasia. We'll be reading from page 85, and this is card number 32. Stop racing around the clock, step inside and feel the magic and the oneness of nature. Affirmation. I am alive to nature's magic as I dissolve in the oneness of all that is. Time out. If you have picked this card, Spirit is calling for you to slow down. Take some time out of your busy schedule and hustle and bustle of your everyday life. Chasing the clock and getting yourself all caught up in the illusion of time has been taking its toll on you, dear one. For so long, you have been at war with time with statements like, I just don't have enough time. Spirit understands your hunger and desire to evolve as a soul and can see the blockages that stop you from exploring further. You see, the universe grants your wish on a daily basis by ensuring that you do not have enough time. Your words hold so much power, as such should be used wisely, and as such should be used wisely. Feeling as though you do not have time can leave you irritable, anxious, and drained. That's very true for me. Very true for me. Recharge your body, mind, and soul. Step away from the stress of the ticking clock. Step outside of the natural world. Smell the flowers. Enjoy the sunset and breathe in nature's beauty. Disconnect from the phone, the computer, the TV, and connect with nature's rhythmic cycles. Ground yourself by feeling the grass under your feet. This is the best way to unwind and renew your energy and your energetic resources. By having this time out to unwind and reconnect with the oneness of nature, you feel refreshed, renewed, and continue your work with inner calm and peace. You will find that by doing this, and the answers that you seek will come with clarity, and understanding can be achieved. Again, affirmation. I'm alive to nature's magic as I dissolve into the oneness of all that is. The associated chakras are the solar plexus and the heart. This is from page 85, Nadi Anastasia's Cosmic Activation Cards for the Soul. Stop racing around the clock, step outside and feel the magic and oneness of nature. You know, that's very true for me. I'm waking up, I'm having some healing. You know, I'm the reluctant guru. I never wanted to be out front. I never wanted to be the masculine. I never wanted to take charge. And there's no escaping that. I am in command. I am in front. I am the one who has the skills and the vision. And a lot of times I'm always like in the back of my mind, well, why do people care what I think? Why do people care about my opinion? Why do people want me around? You know, leave me alone. Don't bother me. And I'm receiving adoration from people. People are giving to me and I'm not even noticing because it's not what I'm asking for. It's not what I'm looking for because it's not what I'm wanting at that moment. So for me, the timeout isn't so much about saying you don't have enough time. I mean, I have that nature about me. And if I'm saying I don't have enough time, it's because I'm feeling like my work is unfinished. And it really just means I need to act more efficiently. For me, the timeout is to recognize what people are giving you. Sometimes people are giving you a gift. They're giving you their love. They're giving you their adoration. They're giving you devotion. And there's times in my life when I don't see that. And so, you know, I could be in situations like this because the person's been giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. And I'm working behind the scenes, not sharing what I'm working on. I'm evolving slowly. And so by the time I'm ready to do things that are not work related, that person's tapped out. Now, usually another way to read this would be that the masculine is rushing in, wanting to establish things now because they were away working on something. Well, I don't see where they were away. I see them make a love offer. I see them come in, rushing in, strongly, by the way, in two different ways, with intellect, reason, and communication, and with drive, desires, passions, motivations. And the feminine is saying, okay, well, is this practical? I'm confused. I can't make a decision. I'm unsure. I got to block some of this. Now, I'm curious what happened at the previous part of the cycle because there's the death card. So something's finally over, but also something's finally here. What is it? Because the masculine says there's a new beginning here. And the feminine says, well, I've got to confront this darkness. I have fear. I have doubt. I have worry. I have trauma. I have psychic residue. Okay, I don't see where the psychic residue is here. So it would be from a previous time. Honestly, I'll be honest, it seems like the masculine is getting better and the feminine is getting worse as this progresses. At the beginning, the feminine was in the right position, the masculine was not, but as it progresses through the cycle, the masculine heals and the feminine doesn't. So has there been a reversal? It's all in the mind, unless there was cheating and a person came in and broke up this connection. So the one way to read that would be that the feminine was in some type of union, marriage, contract agreement, but that's more spiritual. And the masculine had to come in and break it up. So the feminine would have been blocking in the beginning. But see, this 3 is telling me that it's mostly mental and it's shared on both sides. So the feminine feels heartbroken and the masculine feels frozen out. I have a lot to say about that, but that's my personal stuff. For me, I can see that the masculine needs clarity. And the feminine needs, well, the sacrifice to make in order to be more abundant for the feminine is to give practically to this. The sacrifice to make in order to be most abundant for the masculine is to drive things forward according to passions, drives, visions, motivations. So, I mean, I'm finding this true for myself too. When I show up and apologize for the past and say, well, this is my vision for the future, for my students, for my clients, for my children, for my Ifa house, for my temple, for my church, for my family, my biological family, and the family that I'm building with intimate connections. This is my vision. This is my values. This is what I want to see. This is what I'm going to put my energy into. It does one of two things. Either people give to it suddenly. I'm even finding people giving money to it. And then other people withdraw. They freeze me out and I don't see them anymore. Now, it's painful, but it is giving me clarity about who to love and who not to give a fuck about. So how does that apply to your life? I'm sharing because it's discernment. Again, we leave this cycle. The feminine might be making a decision for up to 4 weeks. The masculine has a lot of energy to give. They're on the ready, finger on the trigger, ready to pull. Again, we entered the cycle in with the female deliberating and the masculine having finally made a love offer. They're going on a journey to manifest something related to the heart. Unless they're starting a new tradition, a new practice, a new spiritual tradition, then that would be the journey through the spiritual. Okay, it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. Again, this was the Revolving Door 1111 Divine Lovers edition. The Revolving Door series is where we talk about the karmic aspects of the relationship, but this is a positive relationship that's just going through karmic transmutation. Well, there are 2 nights here, 3 nights. 3 nights is a transmutation. Oh, so this is an active battle. This is an active battle. This union is divine, but it's at war right now. I wish there was a different 7 than the 7 of Swords, because that means the feminine is in her ego. I'm sorry to say. Oh, that's not pleasant. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, it takes a long time for the women to go to war, and when they do go to war, they feel very justified in it. So I'm wondering what the masculine did in the past. Because he's moving deeper and deeper into the light. I guess he's right about here since I accidentally hit that. So that's taking responsibility, taking command, taking control, self-autonomy, self-franchise, building system structures, foundations. Before, he was busy because he was focusing on his duties and obligations. And they're very clear that they feel love. Okay, so we hit that by accident. So here's where the feminine is. So the masculine has progressed further than the feminine. The feminine is out there weighing up her options. She's literally trying to manifest something different. And it's not going to happen. So the only thing she's going to manifest is more clarity, more knowledge, more willpower for this connection. The clarifying card is moving into the union, but the guidance card is looking out of the union. They're looking into the past. They're looking to see practicality. Okay, I'm not certain, madam, that practicality existed in the past. Practicality exists now, in the future, on the masculine side. And you may be looking for proof from the past. Okay, excuse me, madam, excuse me. I don't understand why you're focused on the past. I don't get it. Now, I can sympathize with it because I'm a Cancer. I'm very nostalgic. I'm very weepy about what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I'm still crying over things that happened to me when I was 8 years old. Honey, I'm 33. I'm being told the feminine is in this position here, where she or he or they, the feminine, is looking at the past to see what they can manifest now, but they're going to be very slow about it, even somewhat halted. So the masculine might have been the holdup in the past. Now the feminine is the holdup. I do want to say that. Okay. It's been an honor and pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. Take good care. There's a link in the show notes. There is a special going on right now. Bye-bye.